Shubhodayam. Welcome all to the seventh batch of certificate course on Sanatan Dharma organized by Veda Samskruti Samiti in association with Viswa Yoga Vidyapit. Today we'll be having a new session on Mahabharata by Dr. K. Karnam Nagaraja garu. A very important and very exciting session to follow. We'll start the day with Vande Mataram by Venkat Narayana garu.
वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् सुजलां सुफलां मलयज शीतलां सस्यश्यामलां मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनीं फुल्लकुसुमितद्रुमदलशोभिनीं सुहासिनीं सुमधुरभाषिणीं सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्
Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదాలు వెంకటనారాయణ గారు. Thank you. Now I request Ram Sharma garu to do the pradhana, please.
Sir, shall I start? Okay. 1 minute meditation and 3 times Omkaram. Oh. 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 Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamasravastavam Jyeshtarayam Brahmana Brahmanaspata Anasrunvannuti Om Sri Mahaganadipataye Namaha Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhir Vajanivati Dhinama Vitriyavatu Om Sri Mahasaraswatye Namaha गुरुरेव गति गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहस्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरो परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरो मतिरस्ति गुरो मां पाहि गुरो ओम ज्ञानानंदमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तो पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम शांति 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 మాతృదేవో భవ పితృదేవో భవ ఆచార్య దేవో భవ అతిథి దేవో భవ ఓం సహనా భవతు సహనౌ భునక్తు సహ వీర్యం కరవావహై తేజస్వినావధీతమస్తు మా విద్విషావహై ఓం శాంతి 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 హరి ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః హరి ఓం
Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah. ధన్యవాదాలు రామ్ శర్మ గారు. Thank you very much. Now I request Babu Garu to introduce the speaker of the day.
Okay, thank you, Chala Chitbabu Garu. It is my privilege to introduce Karanam Nagaraja Rao Garu.
Yeah.
He is the faculty is part of VSS and also the faculty for all the courses conducted by VSS so far, right from 2022 till
Babu Garu,
date.
can you put your video, please?
1 minute. Okay. Nagaraja Rao Garu, he was has worked as an officer both in government and also private sectors for almost 30 years and worked as professor in a few universities for 10 years. He has completed MA in political science, history, sociology. He has also completed his PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University in Management Sciences. His other accomplishments include advanced diploma in Vedanta from Chinmaya International Foundation, Kovida from Samskruti Bharati, and Yoga Diploma from Vyasa University. He has also done a course on Gita from Oxford Hindu Studies, Oxford University. He has published nearly more than 60 articles in peer-reviewed national and international journals, and he has 4 published books, Management Insights from Motivational Slokas, Business Ethics Caselets, and Analysis of Dharma from Mahabharata, Virat Parvam, and Principles and Practices of Risk and Insurance. These books are available in Amazon. Currently, after retirement as a professor, he is engaged in teaching Gita to children in Zoom classes and engaged in writing articles in the blog unclekada.com. His lectures on ethics in Mahabharata in English and stories from Mahabharata for children in Telugu can be viewed in his YouTube channel. This is a very short briefing. Thank you, Chala Chittibabu Garu, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Babu Garu, for the nice introduction. And Namaskaram, Subhodayam, Nagaraj Rao Garu. Welcome to the session. And now I request you to continue with the webinar, please.
Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Sadasiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Good morning, everyone. Today it is a great opportunity for me to talk something about Mahabharata. So this opportunity has been given to me for the last so many years by Veda Samskruti Samiti. I am so much of indebted to them also, and also the audience who are interested to come in the morning itself, 6:30, and they are participating in the session. That is a great thing. In fact, it is said that a few years back, a few decades back, not years of course, a few decades back, maybe my grandfather, maybe so and so, in those years, it is a habit of the people to read Mahabharata in the morning itself. So that is why a famous shloka is also there. Prataha Dhyuta Prasangena, Madhyahne Stri Prasangataha, Ratro Chora Prasangena, Kalo Gachati Dhimatam. Dhimatam means the Buddhimantas, the persons who are having great intellect, how they were spending their time from morning to evening. We are spending our time from morning to evening saying WhatsApp messages, Facebook, and also the newspapers and all this the stuff we are seeing. And we don't know what is dharma, what is adharma, and all this is most of us. So here it is not like that. Prataha Dhyuta Prasangena. Early morning itself they used to read Dhyutam. They were discussing about game of dice, how to play, how to win other persons. These type of things they were discussing. Madhyahane they were discussing about the girls, Sri Prasangena. Ratro Chora Prasangena. In the night time they were thinking about the Chora. It is like this, a paradoxical shloka has been written by someone whom we don't know. But what is the actual meaning? Morning Mahabharata, morning Jyota Prasangam. Jyota Prasangam means a game of dice and winning of other persons, how to make a strategy to win other persons, these type of things. Madhyana discussing about Stri Prasangataha. Ratro Chora Prasangena. In night time they used to discuss about how to steal money from other persons. What is the actual meaning of this shloka? Actual meaning of shloka is something different. Prataha Dhyuta Prasangena means it is Dhyutam. Mahabharata is based on Dhyuta only, So game of dice. Game of dice decided the fate of these Pandavas. So like that, morning they were discussing about Dhyuta Prasangam. Madhyahane Sri Prasangataha. Sri Prasangataha means it is basically Ramayana, we call it as Ramayana. But basically, Veda Valmiki has written that title as Sitayana, like that people say. Subsequently, it was changed to Ramayana. That is a different issue. Sitayana, see how Sita behaved and other Stris behaved and other ladies behaved and all these things. So here, they were discussing about Ramayana, they were reading Ramayana. Ratro Chora Prasangena, who is the greatest Chora? Greatest Chora is supposed to be Sri Krishna Paramatma, Bhagavatam. The morning they were reading Mahabharata, Madhyana they were reading Ramayana, and then night they were reading what is called Mahabhagavata. Like that, they were spending their time, Dhimatam, they were Kalo Gachati Dhimatam, like that. So similarly, it has so happened today that Prataha Dhyuta Prasangena, morning we are discussing about this, what is called Mahabharata. Mahabharata we are discussing. So here why we are discussing, why this shloka has come up, because so whatever activity we are going to do from morning to evening or morning to night, whatever it may be, it is to be based on dharma. Dharma is the greatest factor which has to goad people to move forward in the life. So when morning in itself, we begin to read some bad news. So what will happen? The mood will be getting disturbed. So what we are going to do in the entire day is that we will be thinking in those terms and in those lines only we will be going. Our life will be reading in that direction only. But what is more important is that in the morning itself, if we read something about great news, that is dharma. Dharma, if you read, maybe our lives will be prolonging in the same fashion, morning to evening also. whatever activities we do, whatever karmic deeds we do, all those activities will be will be based on dharma only. Dharma will be actually guiding each and every activity of each and every human activity. This is the implication. That is, a Mahabharata has to be read in the morning itself. People used to read like that. So here now that the entire system has been discarded, and now we are in a different direction, material mode, materialistic society we are moving. That is a different issue. But here, Dharma has been given a lot of prominence and importance in Mahabharata. Each and every stage, we find the discussion on Dharma. Whether my activity, the activity which I am going to do here, is based on Dharma or not. So, for example, Mahabharata, Ramayana, if you take into consideration, Ramayana, the hero is Sri Ramachandra, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha, like that. So, he is actually Dharma Murti. He is in the front and he will be leading the entire team. So, his activity is called Dharma. Bhagavanta itself, he himself has come and he has incarnated in the fashion of in the mold of Sri Ramachandra, who is actually basically Vigrahavan Dharma. Like that he is there. In Mahabharata, when it comes, Sri Krishna was there. In spite of that, Sri Krishna was not given that place because already there is one person. The person is incarnation of Dharma Devata, that is called Dharmaraja. Dharmaraja, each and every situation, we find that Dharmaraja is behaving in a dharmic way only. No way, no place we can find that Dharmaraja has deviated Dharma. So you can ask some questions at the end of the session. Maybe one day itself we can take the session. Dharmaraja, discussion about Dharmaraja, how he has deviated Dharma, like that. Never. Like that, if you understand Mahabharata, if you read Mahabharata very deeply, you find that Dharmaraja has never deviated from Dharma. Dharma is the cornerstone, is the bedrock around which his entire activities revolved. Like that. For example, so there are a few examples I will be giving, and then we will move to the subject matter. Today, what I am going to discuss is that basically how it is a dharmic grantha, like that. Then how it is a moksha grantha. Then we will be discussing about who has written this Mahabharata, how it. Everybody knows, of course, but thing is that in a different perspective, different angle. So Mahabharata, to be frank, everybody knows Mahabharata. The thing is that if you ask anybody, have you read Mahabharata? Why to read Mahabharata? I have seen TV. Like that, people will be telling. But here, what we will be reading is that a TV Mahabharata will be just ignoring, thinking that maybe many persons here in the audience. I believe that there are many persons who may be knowing Mahabharata much more better than me. And here, why I have come to teach here is that because it is actually the teaching, we say that it is a two-way. Two types of, two methods are there in teaching. One is pedagogy. Pedagogy means for children. If we teach for children, what will happen? It is almost empty minds. Exceptionally brilliant students, maybe 2-3% may be there. Rest of the persons, average intellect will be there. Average intellect is some type of intellect which is prevailing in all the people because everybody is new to the subject matter. So doesn't know, they don't know anything about the subject matter. So he can teach them. But in the case of elderly persons, what will happen? Each person must have read many things. Some persons must not have read anything. Some people must have heard the YouTube lectures of some other persons, and they must have been having some knowledge. They must have seen some TVs and other things, and they must have some knowledge, and all these things will be there. Different, the audience is actually where it is heterogeneous. People will be there, heterogeneous cultures will be there, heterogeneous activities will be there, the intellect levels are different, the upbringing is different, and everything is different. So here the teaching, how a teacher has to teach, because I was actually a professor in a university. So normally what we do is that if it is an elderly audience is there, it is the way of teaching is, and it is not pedagogy, it is andragogy. Andragogy is one more term, which means that it is for teaching the elders, thinking that all the elders have no knowledge about the subject matter, and we begin to teach everything, whatever we want to teach. Ultimately, We may learn from them, or we may give some education for them. This is how andragogy runs. Basically, it is a premise, and what is the premise on which our teaching depends. Our teaching will be depending on the premise that everybody in the audience has little knowledge or not much knowledge about Mahabharata. Like that only we will be teaching. So please excuse me if at all any person is great person is there. If any something is going wrong at the end of the session, you may you may tell that this is where you have erred like that, and maybe it is for me also it will be useful for next lectures and all these things. With this submission, I would like to continue. Here, Dharma, how it is Dharma, Mahabharata is a great dharmic grantha. So that is a subject matter here initially. So Dharmaraja, each and every place, his activities are guided by Dharma only. One example I can give you. People may be knowing about Vanavasa of Pandavas. When Vanavasa happened, Vanavasa means they were in exile. They were there in the forest. I believe it is in Dvaitavana at that time. When they were there in Dvaitavanam, it so happened in the mind of Duryodhana that so I want to tease them. So this is the idea, because he has already teased them and he has sent them to forest, and they are there already there in the forest, suffering all the difficulties and all these things. But still, he was having an idea that it is not satisfactory for him. He want to humiliate them much more. This humiliation factor is there everywhere in the civilization. You believe it or not, wherever you go. So whenever, because there may be a little subject matter deviation also will be there here and there, because in order to have some comparison with the present day society and all this is. So when some invaders came to India, so what they did, some people raised the temple and built new masjids and whatever it may be, they built like that. So maybe example is Babur, something of that nature. There are some people who want to humiliate this race much more. What they did, they destroyed half the temple, constructed some other structure there, and then keep this half mandir, whatever it may be, in the same spot, like Jnanavapi in Varanasi. So here, what is the idea here? The idea here is that not to erase the entire thing from the minds of the people. People have to feel every day they visit there, they feel that their pride should be humiliated. There is some other person has come and destroyed this one, and still we could not take it out. This humiliation should be there. Similarly, we may be having a lot of riches, we may be having. If riches are there, only riches are having value. Suppose I am having so many buildings, I am having so much acres of land I am having. It will be having value only, but when it will be having value, it will be having value when our enemies see it and they will be having some jealousy. Or if our friends exhibit all those things to our friends and all those persons, stating that this is my rich and all these things, then only the pride of the person will be satisfied. This is a human tendency. So here also Duryodhana has sent them to exile. He was enjoying the entire kingdom. Still, he was having the idea to humiliate Pandavas further. So what he planned is that with the permission of the Dhritarashtra, with all the entourage, he went there. The same one of the Dvaitavana, he goes there and he camped there. He camped there with a lot of fun, revelry and all these things. And there's some place Pandavas were sitting and they were doing there some yaga, yajna, whatever it may be on one day. And they were doing that activity. Here, these people came there, they were dancing, they were doing a lot of activity, drums were beaten up. This type of activity he was doing. Hima was very much angry. This man has come here still to humiliate us. He wants to exhibit his riches. So what he can do, because he is a Dasa and he is already, of course he is not Dasa at the time, he is already in exile. He can't do anything. He is a king. So king can do anything. All places are his places only. This was that nothing happens. At the time, what so happened that he was actually, there was a fight with Chitraratha. Gandharva was there. And Duryodhana had to fight with the Chitraratha because for the sake of water in a pond, which Chitraratha claimed that it was his property, and Duryodhana was claiming that it is entire property belongs to the king like that. So there was a clash. So initially he defeated everybody, including Karna. Karna was defeated, and he went to long distance. He was nowhere to be seen in the place, and Duryodhana fought alone. When he was fighting alone, he was caught, the Chitraratha caught hold of him, tied him to the chariot, and took him. He wanted to take him away to the heavens. So like that, it was happening. That was the scene. When that was the scene, the ladies came running to Dharmaraja, and they were asking, "Please, Dharmaraja, you only have to support us, because Duryodhana has come with wrong intention, but he was tried by Chitraratha and he was being taken away like that." And Bhima was very much happy. And he was telling, whatever we wanted to do, he has done it. So this is how it happened. Then what happened is that Dharmaraja says, no, it is not like that. We have to save our brother. Why we have to save our brother? He was telling two reasons. One, that is dharma. Whatever I am telling now is that is dharmic activity of Dharmaraja. I am trying to tell here. He was telling one thing. See, Bhimasena, what has happened now is something which we cannot imagine. Our own person means a person who is belonging to the Kuru dynasty, Kuru Vamsha king has been caught hold by some Chitraratha, some unknown Gandharva, and he is taking away our person. What will happen to the prestige of our Kuru Vamsha? Tell me. Suppose we all belong to the Kuru Vamsha one day. If somebody raises a hand, raises his finger, and says that this is the Vamsha where the king has been caught hold by some person, Chitraratha, and he took him away. And such persons, such what is called not brave people. So that timid people, those type of inferior people are there in this race, like that people will tell. It's not good on the part of our Vamsha Pratishtha we have to uphold. Because of this reason, you have to protect him. The second thing he was telling is that one thing, the still more great thing. The thing what he tells is that if somebody is going to invade any one of us, then what will happen is that we should work as 105 people. They are 5 and we are 100 put together. We are 5 and they are 100 put together. We are 105. We have to fight those persons. The enemy. Suppose the enemy is not there, we are on our own. Then they are 100 and we are 5. We can fight, no problem. Our fighting is inside. It is inside the house. But when an outsider comes, all people should unite. This principle should prevail all the time. This is the thing he told, and he asked Bhima and Arjuna to go there, fight with Chitraratha and bring him back. When he was brought back, Dharmaraja asked Bhimasena to remove all this, what is called bindings, and they were tied. He was tied already. The tide was removed, and he was given what is called liberty to go there and rule over Hastinapura like that. So what is the implication here? He was actually behaving in a dharmic fashion because his intentions are something different. Here now he has been, because if at all Dharmaraja has kept quiet at the time, what will happen? There will not be any Mahabharata, or after 13 years there is a kingdom is there. He could have gone there and he could have occupied kingdom and he was very much safe. But what he did here was that, knowing fully well that this Duryodhana will again behave wrongly, knowing fully that this Duryodhana will not give back his kingdom, all these things he knows, still dharma is more important. Today kingdom is there, kingdom is not there, whether it is there or not, it is immaterial. What we have to do is that we have to uphold dharma one day. This is how he behaves. Similarly, Yaksha Prasnas, that is one more activity we come across in Mahabharata, great episode, wherein we come across a situation wherein the Yaksha, all these Pandavas died, they were dead after taking the water from the pond, and Dharmaraja enters there, and the Yaksha asks some questions, and the Yaksha Prasnas are very much famous, and after that he will be asking, anyway, I am very much pleased with your answers. Oh Dharmaraja, now tell me, I want to give back life to one of your brothers. You choose one person like that. So whom should we choose? Dharmaraja, once it is Vanavasa is over and Agnatavasa is over, and he has to fight with Duryodhana. For fighting with Duryodhana, who is required for him? Either Arjuna is required or Bhima is required. Arjuna, who knows all Dhanur Vidya, he will be supporting, he can do the war. Or Bhimasena, who is having a lot of strength, muscle power, he is having, he can do the activity. Either of them he could have chosen. But what he chose Nakula. I want Nakula to be survived. If at all I have only one choice. If you are going to give me a choice to say that only one brother is to be going to be alive, I would choose Nakula, he says. Then Yaksha was perplexed. He was asking, yeah, I thought you can choose, you will be choosing either Bhimasena or Arjuna. But why are you choosing Nakula? And Nakula is actually a great warrior. That is a different issue. But thing is that he is not as great warrior as Bhimasena or Arjuna put together or any other person put together. So here, why are you choosing Nakula? He says one thing. I have two mothers. One mother is Kunti and the other mother is Madri. When Kunti and Madri both persons are there, Kunti's son I am surviving. Madri's son also should survive. That is the reason I would like to choose Nakula only. But about war and all this is okay, no problem. Fate is there. Whatever that is going to happen will happen. According to Dharma, I go according to Dharma. And in the way of Dharma, whatever happens, let it happen. I am not bothered about what is going to happen in the war and all these things. I want only Nakula to be saved. Then he was very much pleased and he gave life to all the brothers. So this is how there are so many episodes we come across. Mahabharata, normally when we see films and other places, Dharmaraja's character is not highlighted. Maybe in many films we come across. In all the places we see about Bhimasena will be there, Duryodhana will be there, Karna is highlighted and all these persons will be highlighted. But the great person in Mahabharata, Dharmaraja is not highlighted because we don't like Dharma. Basically, that is the idea here. If we see the film on Dharmaraja, I don't think anybody, it cannot be a box office hit. So people want only money out of it. Mahabharata is also being used for the purpose of money only. So because what will happen is that Dharmaraja character is never highlighted. Dharmaraja character is never highlighted. Dharmaraja is not known to many person also. People feel that maybe children we come across normally when we begin to tell the story. Dharmaraja, if we tell Acha Dharmaraja is a waste person, he is not having any strength or he does not know anything. Because he won the war because of Bhima and Arjuna and other persons, he has no great strength like that. All this people will be telling. But Dharmaraja character has to be highlighted because the society itself is adharmic, becoming adharmic. Because of this reason, the great person's greatness is getting diminished and diminished day after day. That is what is happening. So this is how the Mahabharata runs. Mahabharata, each and every episode, Dharma is given more importance. And here, one more aspect I would like to tell. Even in the Mahabharata, original Mahabharata, Vedavyasa Mahabharata, if you begin to read, maybe at the end of or at the beginning of the any episode, if you take, so many episodes are there, akyanas are there. Each and every episode, some sort of dharma will be discussed. Some sort of dharma will be discussed. And each and every, even bad characters also will be discussing. It is I have acted as per dharma only, like that. For example, Shishupala comes there. Not Shishupala, Saindhava comes there. He saw Draupadi in when they were there in Vanavasa. All Pandavas went out for hunting. Draupadi was alone in the house, that is ashrama. Dhaumya was there, and one more person name I don't remember. One more rishi was there. Dhaumya was the priest for Pandavas, and also one more person was also there. These two, of course, these are frail, fragile rishis. They can't fight. Those two persons were there with the Draupadi. When Draupadi saw Draupadi from long distance, he was very much attracted and he wanted to carry her away. And he initially he sent some person, Kotikasya, somebody like that, and when she refused to go there, and he came there, dragged her, put her on the chariot, and he was taking away. At the time, also he tells one thing. Because whatever he is doing, the activity, what he is doing is a wrong thing he is doing. But still he says, I am a king. The Vajras, Vaidhuryas, Ratnas, Manikyas, and the girls. Whatever that is famous or whatever that is rich, the entire rich belong to the king only. So I am not deviating dharma. I am doing according to the dharmic way only I am behaving now. Because when I am taking away one lady, attractive lady, what I am doing is I am following dharma only I am following. Like that he tells and carries away, tries to carry her away. But here that there is why what happens is that even bad characters also are fearful about dharma and all these things. They want to justify their activities, stating that my activity is according to the principle of dharma only. So this is a great irony. So like that, Duryodhana, when he claims entire kingdom belongs to me, he will also be telling so many reasons he will be telling. If the kingdom is there, the entire kingdom is distributed to 105 persons and also to other persons, then what will happen to the country as a whole? The integrity of the country will be spoiled. And how can they rule the country? Like that, he invokes some principle and he says that the entire property should belong to me only. If he is going to tell it, he says that it is according to the dharma only. So like this, each and every person tries to justify his activity, stating that it is according to dharma only. So what is the assumption? What is the thing that we can derive from this is that Mahabharata, in all places, they were discussing each and every activity when they wanted to do. They try to see from the angle of dharma. It is according to me dharma only like that. And of course, sometimes they were deviating dharma. But what is dharma and adharma? Dharma sushmata also we find in Mahabharata. That is why many places we find we come across dharma sushmata. Dharma sushmata means sometimes apparently there is dharma, but inside, beneath the layers of all those things, we find it is adharma only. For that, there is a story is there. The story also I will tell. I think what is the time also I will be looking at. I should be looking at 7 o'clock already. Okay. I am having time after 8 o'clock. No? 8 o'clock, 6:30 to 8:15. 8:15, no, sir? 8:15. Okay. 7:40. What time I have to close, sir? It is actually 7:45 or 8. The organizers may not be there in the.
Actually, you can continue up to 7:45
Okay, time is
and
okay.
15 minutes,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Fine. Fine, sir. Fine. Sir. Got it. Thank you so much. So here, so like this, what happens is that they will be justifying their activities according to stating that it is dharma. So dharma is given more importance and prominence. Why dharma? Because of this reason, Mahabharata, Veda Vyasa wanted to write this book. In the initial stages of the Mahabharata itself, he says, I am crying with the people to follow dharma. People are not following dharma. I raise my hands and with folded hands I will be praying to all people, follow dharma, follow dharma. They are not following dharma. Because of this reason, I wanted to write this book. Like this, he mentions in the beginning of the Mahabharata and he starts writing this Mahabharata. In order to establish dharma, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the four Chaturvida Purusharthas. So in order to earn, in order to gain kama, artha, these two things should be guided according to dharma. If dharma is going to guide kama, artha, moksha, it is a natural process. Naturally, he is going to attain moksha. If at all he is following these principles very scrupulous fashion. So because of this reason, he wanted to write a book which discusses dharma. It discusses dharma only. Here, Vedavyasa, how he wrote Mahabharata. Because the purpose of Mahabharata is this purpose. So propagate dharma. For propagating dharma, Vedas are already there. Upanishads are already there. And why one more book has to be written? It is because Vedas are Prabhu Samhitas, people tell. Prabhu Samhitas, Mitra Samhitas, Kanta Samhitas, like that, the terminology is there. Prabhu Samhita means Vedas are there. Vedas will be telling in a single word, it will tell Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, like that it will be there. So here, the person who is going to listen to this has to understand the depth of it by concentrating or contemplating over that particular what is called sentence. Satyam Vada. He has to contemplate on it and he has to understand it on his own and he has to follow it. That is how Upanishads and Vedas will be talking about. So, but that cannot be understood by many people. They can't understand it. They can't understand all this. Suppose if I say the Satyam Vada, you hear it, okay, Satyam Vada. We follow Satyam like that, and then after some time we forget it. So, in order to ensure that this Satyam Vada statement has to be there in the minds of each and every person, so itihasas have come out. These are called Mitra Samhitas. Mitra Samhita means like a Prabhu dictating Vedas. Here, Mitra Samhita means a friend will be coming and tell you something about this entire thing. And of Satyam Vada, what is the importance of Satyam Vada? You do like this, you do like that, and he will be Mitra, a friend will be coming and he will be telling, he is a close friend, and whenever he tells something, we hear it. That is how the itihasas come. Itihasa means itihasa, which means that it happened like this, like that. So it has happened like that means it is actually a story belonging to certain persons, a certain group of persons who are there on earth, and it is actually a history. To some extent, it is history, not necessarily history. So these are the persons who are already there. So Vedavyasa wanted to take the persons, what is called Kuru Vamsha. Kuru Vamsha itself, the Kauravas and Pandavas are there. Their story he wanted to take it out. Over that story, he wanted to infuse dharma, and he wanted to tell the people that this is how these persons have behaved. Similar what we can call case rates. In business students, we will be telling case rates, we will be telling. So we will be telling about entrepreneurship, we will be talking about entrepreneurship, and then we bring about one entrepreneur activities and all this into the classroom and say that this is how he has behaved and this is how he has become an entrepreneur. This is how a company has behaved, and because of this reason, the company become a success. Like that, it is a caselet, what we can call. Caselet is actually whatever that has happened, that will be brought to the picture, and it will be discussed in the classroom. And once it is discussed in the classroom, the entire import of that subject matter will be understood instead of reading the bland theory. So similarly here also he wanted to tell dharma. In order to tell dharma, he wanted to use the story of Kauravas and Pandavas. This is how itihasa has come into existence. That is Mahabharata. Similarly, Ramayana, Valmiki wanted to bring the story of Rama and Sita, and he wanted to tell dharma. So this is called Prabhu Samhita, Mitra Samhitas. Then we are having one more layer. The one more layer is Puranas. Puranas, Kavyas, like the Prabandhas and all these things. Those things are Mitra, Kanta Samhitas like that. A Kanta Samhita means your lover will be coming there and she will be telling something in your ears and it will be present for you and you wanted to follow it. This is how Puranas will be coming into existence, the third layer. So here the elaboration will be there. Same story, same Satyam Vada only. If Mahabharata discusses it in Satya Harishchandra story, here Satya Harishchandra story also again so many kalpanas will be made, so many imaginaries are put there, and ultimately establishing Satyam Vada only will be established. But thing is that it will be focused in it for a different audience. Maybe this three structure has been devised by the rishis for the purpose that maybe the highly intelligent persons can read those Vedas and all these things. This lesser intellect persons, maybe not to that extent. Those persons, itihasas are meant, and the subsequent layers of people, Pamara people, what we can call Pamarulu, what we can call. Those type of persons, what they can understand easily Puranas and all this is, even though they don't have any reading, writing subject matter, they can understand Puranas. Because of this reason, Puranas and all these things have come into the picture. So like that, it is a propagation of Vedic knowledge in a different fashion for different layers of people. It is designed like that. So Mahabharata is one of the itihasas. Two itihasas we are having, Ramayana and Mahabharata. It belongs to the itihasa type. It is itihasa. The why itihasa is here means itihasa Purana Bhyam Vedam Samupa Brahmayet, like that they tell. So we understand the meaning of Vedas from Itihasas and Puranas only. Otherwise, we can't understand. One more important thing about Itihasas, Puranas is that sometimes there is apparent clash between two dharmas when we read Vedas alone. Maybe Vedic knowledge alone, if you take into consideration, there may apparently there will be some. What will happen is there may be some clashes. So which has to be followed? Which has to be followed? Then Mahabharata will be giving the case studies and it will explain it. I will tell you a story from Mahabharata only. Maybe people may be knowing the story because it has to, for the purpose of our discussion only, I am telling the story very briefly because time is short for us. Here there was a rishi. The rishi was actually, he was staying in a forest. He was having a principle, the principle Vratam, what we can call. The Vratam is that I tell Satyam Vada, according to the Vedic dictate. Only truth I will talk, no untruth. This was his principle. He was following that principle very scrupulously. He was following. Everybody in the village they know, and everybody outsiders also they know that this man is his principle is Satyam Vada, like that. On one occasion, it so happened that some thieves entered into the village and they wanted to take away the property of the villagers. The villagers took hold of some property, important things, and they ran away. They ran away to the forest. These thieves also followed them. When the thieves also followed them, in order to save their lives, these people were running helter skelter, and ultimately some people found shelter in this ashrama of this rishi. They came there and they were hiding in some different places. They were hiding. At that time, the thieves came after some time and they were asking. Some people were running in this place. Have you seen them like that? And he, because he was actually meditating at the time when there was some disturbance, he opened his eyes. When he opened his eyes, some people were hiding in this place only. He knew that thieves are actually running because they were telling aloud, thieves are coming, please save, save, like that, and they were hiding. So he knows that thieves are coming to take to their property or their lives, whatever it may be. Then what is principle? His principle is Satyam Vada. They ask, Swamiji, you are known for Satyam, truth. You follow truth only. Please tell us, have you seen any persons here? Yes, I have seen. Where are they? Tell me. Tell us. If you have seen it, tell me. Tell us. And they are there. And then immediately they caught hold of those persons, killed them, took away the property and went out. And what is here? And he was contemplating because whether I am correct or not. He thought that I am following the dictums of Veda, Prabhu Samhitana. It is actually I am following the principle of Dharma only. So okay, fine. Then when he died, he was taken to the hell, not to the heaven. He was asking, I am following the principle of Satyam Vada only all these years. Why are you taking me right here to the some other loka? He was asking. Then they were telling, no, no. What you followed is Satyam Vada is there. By virtue of following that particular principle, you have committed a sin. The sin is actually himsa. Himsa prayukta dharma. Himsa prayukta satyam asatyam. So that is how it is defined. The himsa prayukta satyam. What you are following truth, okay, fine. The truth has led to the death of some persons. That's not correct. What is important is that you are not supposed to. You are instrumental for the purpose of the death of some people by virtue of following one principle which is called satyam. That is not satyam. Where there is violence, the violence is there which is leading to the death of some persons at the time. The truth is not a truth. Truth is untruth only at that time. Even if it is an untruth, by virtue of an untruth, if you are going to save some person, that is a truth. That is Dharma Sushmata. So like this is story where it is there. The story is there in Mahabharata. So what is the story, the import of that story? Story is going to tell us one thing is that if at all there is a clash between two things, you need to use your judgment only. You need to use your judgment and you need to ensure that there is no violence there and there is some disturbance should not be there in the society and the dharmic activity of the society should prevail. All these things aspects you need to take into consideration. You have to decide it. The decision is actually the dharma is very sushma. Very sushma means it is very subtle. The subtle dharma has to be deciphered. The deciphering of certain dharma easily it is not possible. So what is more required is that we need to read these type of things, many things. If we begin to read, sometimes we come to know that this is how we may have to behave in the society in order to ensure that dharma is going to be established. This is why this is how because of this reason so much of big Mahabharata has been written down. It is not a small Mahabharata. It is actually 1 lakh shlokas it is having. 1 lakh shlokas. Out of this 1 lakh shlokas he has written down, and bringing into Mahabharata, the stream of Mahabharata, he has brought many akhyanas also he has brought in order to establish this dharmic principles in a big, much more bigger way. Those things are, say, for example, Ladamayanti Charitra is there, Agastya Charitra is there, and then what we can call many other things like this. What is called Indrajumna story is there, Yayati Charitra is there, and what is there are like that. If you begin to read Ramayana, entire Ramayana is there again in Mahabharata. Like that, each and every story will be bringing some sort of information for us, so that our mind will be getting enriched each and every minute. So what is dharma and what is adharma, in order to understand it? By reading one thing, we may not be understanding. We may be having some more doubts here. For clearing some more doubts, you need to read further. So if you begin to read only theoretical aspect of Veda, you may not be understanding the import of Vedas. In order to understand it, go to Itihasas, go to what is called Puranas, and go to other places. So what will happen is that Dhanam is there. How Dhanam has to be performed? Dhanam has to be performed. Everybody has performed Dana. Karna has done great dana, Shivi has done great dana, Dhadichi has done great dana, like that. Dana means charity, giving something to some other person. Charity, we may call it, in loose translation into English. Then how it should be done? Whether Karna's dana is great, or Shibi Chakravarti dana is great, or Dhadichi dana is great. How anything is inferior, how anything is great, how we should give to some other persons. This type of things will be discussed in Mahabharata in a very depth fashion. It will be getting there discussed. So we'll be understanding so many things from Mahabharata by reading all these things. So in order to understand what is dharma and what is adharma, in order to understand what is the right path and what is the wrong path, we need to read Mahabharata. So, what is the purpose of reading now? Because for any reading, any book for that matter, we have to know what we are going to get out of it. Otherwise, we should not read it. Suppose if some person is going to give you some book, and that book we are going to read it. Before going to read it, you should know that whether it will be useful to you or not useful to you. So, Mahabharata is useful in this direction. And why, how Mahabharata useful in any other way is it useful? Only for dharma understanding or kama understanding? Not like that. Mahabharata will be discussing many other aspects like moksha. Moksha is very much important. Moksha is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Moksha is where liberation from the births and deaths. Janma rahityam. Janma rahityam should be there. How it should be attained? Mahabharata, we come across three important what is called subject matters. The three important subject matters are: one is Bhagavad Gita is there in Mahabharata only. Sanat Sujayatayam is also there in Mahabharata. Vishnu Sahasranama is there in Mahabharata. And all these places, Shankaracharya has written Bhashyam for all these three things, means the importance of these three things are very much highlighted here. So all these things are there in Mahabharata only, it is there. What is called this Bhagavad Gita is actually a composition of the principle, all the principles that are there in Upanishads are taken it out and they are put in Bhagavad Gita. If you read Bhagavad Gita and understand the Bhagavad Gita in a proper way, only reading Bhagavad Gita is no useful, or keeping Bhagavad Gita in the shelf has also no use. And if you read Bhagavad Gita in a correct fashion and understand it in a correct way, then it is as good as reading all the Upanishads. That is how it is there. So Upanishad Saram is there in Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, same Upanishad Saram is there in Sanat Sujatiyam, it is there, which is taught by Sanat Kumar to Dhritarashtra. some occasion it will come across. Similarly, Vishnu Sahasranama. Vishnu Sahasranama, each and every nama is not a Rudhi Nama. Rudhi Nama means, suppose I am there, Nagaraja Rao. Nagaraja Rao, my name is because I am born to some person and then some name has been given to me, my parents, and because of this reason I am called this Nagaraja. Like that it is there. But Vishnu, whatever nama is there for him, it is not actually a Rudhi Nama. It has some different Utpatti Nama. Utpatti Nama means it has some other meaning is there for it. Because of this reason, the name has been given. Vishnu, Vishnu Vyapakasilaha Vishnu, like that. Vyapakasilaha means that say that eternal Shakti which is prevailing in all objects. The sun, that whatever we see, the moon, what we see, the nature, what we see, the air, what we see, the entire thing is that some Shakti. The Shakti is Vishnu, Vyapakasilaha Vishnu, like that. So it is how this has to be understood. Because of this reason, for Vishnu Sahasranam also, Shankaracharya has written Bhashyam. All these things are there in Mahabharata only. In order to understand, in order to elevate ourselves from the mundane life to the what we can call spiritual life, we need to understand these type of things. If you understand this type of things, we get elevated from this normal life. Normal life is there every day. We come across, we get up, take coffee, and eat idli, sambar, and all this is afternoon with one more lunch and then dinner, one more time, and all this is go to bed with a lot of dharmic activities from morning to evening. And then what will happen is that every day we will be earning more and more, accumulating there, and then the day die. What is that we have given to the society and what we have done to the society and what we have achieved in the society? Giving a lot of property to the children only. Beyond that, what we have done? Reading the Hindu newspaper we will be doing. Beyond that, nothing is there which has used. What we understand from is that all these bad things will be there from morning to evening, like that. TV we see and these type of things. So what we have done at the end of the day. So here there is no meaning for life. The meaning of life will be known only on the when we are there before going to the deathbed. And at the time we realize that what we have done all these years is how frivolously we spent our time like that. Maybe that is how the activities go. So here, in order to elevate ourselves from this type of life to the higher spiritual level and higher life, we need to read again Mahabharata only. Mahabharata, again this Bhagavad Gita, Sana Sujate, Vishnu Sahasranamam, and again there are many other episodes which are called Yaksha Prasnas, Usha Prasnas, Dharma Vyadha Vyakhyanam, and Upakhyanam, and then we come across Shiva Sahasranamam, and many other stotras and other things are there embedded in Mahabharata. Like that, Mahabharata is actually a great book wherein so many things are introduced into the subject matter. Many poets and all those persons took out some small portion of Mahabharata and they have written big prabandhas they have written. So that is why Dharma Tattvavettas, what they were telling is that it is a Dharma Shastra. Kavi Vrishabhas, they are calling that it is belonging to Kavyam. And there are Niti, people who teach Niti, that is called morals and all these persons. They say that it is a Niti Shastra. And there are the people who talk about logic, they say that it is a Grandha and logic. Like that, each and every person will be seeing Mahabharata from the different perspective. Recently, I come across one book. The book is discussing Mahabharata and architecture like that. What is the architecture? The Vishwakarma society people, they have done a great activity. And Mahabharata and also what we can call the activity of Shilpa Shastra. Shilpa Shastra in Mahabharata, like that. So we come across so many things from Mahabharata. It is a place where we can get something or other thing for each and every person. That is the reason why in the beginning itself, Veda Vyasa writes one thing. What is that? What he writes? Dharme cha, arthe cha, kame cha, mokshe cha, bharatarshapha, yadi hasti tad anyatra. Yenne hasti natat kvachit. Like that he says. Yadi iha asti tad anyatra. Whatever is there in respect of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These four subject matters, if you take into consideration, whatever is there in Mahabharata is there in any other place. No other new thing is there. What is not here cannot be found anywhere. Like that he has given. Because in whatever Dharma Shastras are there, entire Dharma Shastras are put in this Mahabharata. whatever thing that is belonging to Artha and Kama, Moksha and all these things, how you need to attain Moksha and whatever it may be, all these type of issues, what is discussed in Mahabharata can be discussed anywhere. What is not discussed in Mahabharata is not there anywhere like that. He has given a great statement and he proceeded with Mahabharata. So that is the greatness of Mahabharata. He has written all those things. So for this purpose also we need to read Mahabharata. And one more thing why we need to Mahabharata is one more important aspect. Thing is that there are many people who normally feel that this is actually Mahabharata, Ramayana, all these things are actually, there are some sect of people, some varna of people, or to be frank, in a more candid way, if you tell, it is Brahmana Vada Granthas. They are actually meant for some sections of the people only, and they wanted to humiliate other sections of the people, particularly other Varnas. Because of this reason, they have highlighted these books and they have propagated these books. So, because of this reason, these type of books should not be introduced in the curriculum of universities, colleges, those type of places. This is one more people argument. People will be, particularly the Medhavi Varga, what is called the so-called secular people and all these persons will be propagating these type of ideas. They are stating that if at all any government is going to introduce Bhagavad Gita into the subject matter of curriculum, immediately they say that it is actually a religious textbook. This is also there. See here, Mahabharata, if you take Mahabharata and you read Mahabharata completely or Bhagavad Gita completely, we feel that nowhere this type of ideology is prevailing in Mahabharata. One section of the people suppressing other section of the people is not there. One example I can give you. Yaksha Prasnas are there. In the Yaksha Prasnas, Yaksha was asking one question to Dharmaraja. Suppose how these Varnas are developed, that is one Varna is actually Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudras, like that. These Varnas are there, four Varnas are there in Mahabharata. If four Varnas are there in Mahabharata and these four Varnas are designed, how it is actually these four Varnas are designed? These four Varnas are designed according to Guna Karma Vibhagashaha, like that. Chaturvarnyam Maya Srushta Guna Karma Vibhagashaha, like that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. These four Varnas are actually based on Guna and Karma. Guna means whether you are there in Sattva Guna, or whether they are there in Rajasa Guna, or whether you are there in Tamasa Guna, or combination. What is the type of combination you are having? Purely Sattva Guna Pradhana person is a Brahmin. Like that, the definition in those days, it was like that only. Mahabharata times, Ramayana times, and also Vedas, they talk about this type of things only. When what they tell, Sattva-guna Pradhana person is a Brahmin. Then there is Sattva-guna, little Sattva-guna is there, and also some Rajasa-guna also will be there. Rajasa-guna means there is some people who wanted to do some aggressive activity also. There are people who are actually some getting motivated easily, and those persons who wanted to do something to the society, these type of persons are save people and preserve what is called dharma, these type of persons. They are actually moving in the society and they do those type of activities. Sattva-guna Pradhana persons, what they do, they will be reading Vedas, Puranas and all these things, Adhyayanam and Adhyapanam. They teach other persons, they read on their own, they do yajnas for other persons, they do on their own, they do, and for others also they will be conducting their yajnas. These type of persons are Sattva-guna Pradhanas. They are purely Brahmins, like that. And if it is not a little of Sattva-guna and more of Rajasa-guna, those people are called Kshatriyas. They will be protecting the society, like that. And the third type of persons are what we can call Vaishyas. Vaishyas are actually, those are the guna is actually what they will be doing is that they are more of less of Rajoguna. Rajoguna will be there, and a little Tamoguna also will be there. Tamoguna means some sort of what is called keeping hold of some money for their own sake, not necessarily for the sake of the society. And again, they will be doing some all types of business activities they will be doing. Those type of persons will be falling under the category of Vaisyas. Rajas is there, tamas is also there. There are some people, purely tamo guna persons. They don't want to read first of all, and they don't want to listen to anything, and they want it to be as it is. Morning get up, like to be frank, what we are doing. Maybe morning getting up, taking coffee and also tiffin and all this thing, lunch and dinner, and go to office, come back. These type of persons maybe. And we feel that we are Sattvaguda Pradhana, so that is a different issue. Of course, I don't want to discuss in that fashion. But maybe those type of persons who don't want to do any great activity for, they don't want to use their intellect. Most of the time they wanted to sleep or whatever it may be. And Tamo Guna Pradhanas. And no Rajoguna, no Tamo, Sattva those type of persons. These type of persons are Shudras, like that. It is designed. Who has to design this Guna and Karma also? What activity they are doing? Who has to decide this? Then for this Manudharma Shastra, we have to go back. If you go back to Manudharma Shastra, they say that in those days, Manudharma, Manu time, there used to be people in each and every village. Those persons are highly intellectual people. Some people, they are most disinterested persons. Children up to age of say 6 years, everybody is treated as a Shudra only. And then the child will be taken to the intellect person. The intellect persons will be interacting with this child. In the interacting with the child and says that this person is ambitious person, or he is only Sattva person, or whether he is going to be some sort of activity, business activity, bent of mind is there for him, or he wanted to just like that to sleep over, doze over, like that. This type of person is there. He see that activity of those persons, he interact with him for 3-4 days, and then he decides this person is going to be a Brahmin, this person is going to be a Shudra, this person is called Kshatriya, like that he decides. Maybe a person is having 4 sons, and 4 sons are taken to one place, and he may decide that one person may be Brahmin, one person may be Kshatriya, like that he may decide. This is how the structure has been designed in the beginning. Over a period of years, a deterioration happened. Ultimately, we come across a situation wherein birth is going to decide the Varna. Now, not necessarily we cannot call it as a Varna, it is called as a caste, like that. Varna has degenerated into caste, and it has come like this. This is actually a societal problem. Society over a period of years, Hindu societies, we are having a civilization of 5,000 years or 6,000 years or maybe much more. Because of this reason, what happened is that over a period of years, this deterioration has cropped into the system itself, and we are now at this stage. So we at this stage, we look Mahabharata back and then some come to a conclusion that these are called Brahmanavada Granthas. But if you read Mahabharata, they say very beautifully, clearly, Yakshaprasthas he calls, can a person who is designated as a Shudra initially, and he is a Shudra, suppose he is going to develop what we can call Sattva Guna over a period of years, because a person born in certain age and he was there at certain age, his activities may be directed in this fashion. Maybe over a period of years, after seeing so many things, after experiencing so many experiences, he may come to a situation wherein he has developed Sattva Guna. At that time, can he become a Brahmin? He questions. Then Dharmaraja answers, yes, a Shudra can become a Brahmin. Shudra yonopi jatasya sadgunanu pratishtitaha vaishyatvam labhate brahman kshatriyatvam tathaivacha. Ardave vartamanasya brahmanyam abhijayate. Like that he says, Vanaparva it is there. Vanaparva, maybe some chapter it is there. Yakshaprasthana's place it is there. Shudra yonopi jatasya. Even if he is born as a Shudra, and if he is Sadgunanu Pratishtitaha, if he is going to be developing his Rujuvartana, and then he can get Vaishyatvam Labhate, and Labhate Brahman Kshatriyatvam Tathaivacha, he can also become a Kshatriya. And Ardave Vartamanasya Brahmanyam Abhijayate, he can also get Brahmanyam, also he can get Brahmana, also he can become. Similarly, Yaksha will not live like that. He says, if at all a Brahmin, he is going to get degenerated, because by virtue of going for semi business activity, he goes for a business activity, and he forgets Veda, and he will be doing this type of activity. Can you call him as a Shudra? Yes, he can be called as a Shudra, like that it is. So then if this is way Mahabharata, Vedavyasa mind is there, you cannot call it as what is called a Brahmanavada Granthas or like that. So suppose somebody is going to say that this is many persons who criticize Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, I don't think they have read it. Bhagavad Gita, if you begin to read, there is no place these type of things, what is called mundane things, are discussed. It is actually a elevated grantha, which can be a subject matter from the first standard onwards. It can be given as a choice, according to me. But thing is that people have not read Mahabharata, what is called Bhagavad Gita, whatever it may be. This type of persons, they don't read. And even the intellectuals who face what is called, if you are a debate is going to happen, we are in a different position. We are in a defensive posture only because we have not read it. If you read it, we can comment on it and we can say that it's not like that and we can argue it. The intellectuals are also, the level of intellect is also getting down because of material culture. And what we read from morning to evening is same thing only. I have come across a professor because I was working, when I was working as a professor, one person on one day he came and why should we read Bhagavad Gita? At the time itself, he was reading some chapters of Bhagavad Gita and telling to some audiences. Then he was telling what is the use of Bhagavad Gita. Like that, he wanted to argue for argument purpose only he came. Then I asked him what is there in Bhagavad Gita. When I told, sir, one thing I can ask you: how many days you studied? How many days you spent for studying Bhagavad Gita? So 1.5 day, like that he told. For teaching MBA students, how much of time you have used? Maybe he did his PhD for the sake of it. PhD maybe 5 years. Earlier to that he has done his MBA, another 2 years, 7.5 years. And prior to that he has read all this BBA, whatever it may be, all these things. For teaching MBA student, you have spent roughly some 15 years, you have spent it for teaching students of MBA standard people. And now for telling Bhagavad Gita that nothing is there, you have spent 1.5 day. And if you spend 1.5 day and you begin to decide Bhagavad Gita, and 15 years for the subject matter of MBA students, and what did you do? What have you studied then? Then is it the right way to question Bhagavad Gita? So there is no answer for all these things. So like this, then we don't read and we simply comment. Sitting there, academicians will be like that only. So here, so like that Mahabharata, it should not be misinterpreted. It should be taken into consideration. So in order to understand the moolas, what is our actually roots? In order to understand our roots, we need to read Mahabharata. If we read Mahabharata, we will be knowing our roots, where we are there, and how we can tackle our current day social problems. Current day social problems are actually linked to Mahabharata only, Mahabharata times only. From there onwards, people even now also in parliament and all other places also, Rama name is invoked, other Ravana name is invoked. All the, why they are doing all this activity? Because our dharmic moolas are there in Mahabharata times, Ramayana times. From there onwards, it is going on. In order to understand our current day society, we need to look back and see what is there in the history, what is there in the back. That if we understand, we can able to solve. We can solve many current social problems. Also, we can solve to some extent. That is why also Mahabharata reading is very much important. Then and before going to the actual subject matter, of course, Mahabharata is a very big one because of this reason. Rajaniti is there in Mahabharata. They will be telling if Raja is taking by 1/6 of the property, 1/6 of the produce of the farmers as what is called tax, then if he is not protecting those persons, that type of Kshatriya has to be killed with stones and other things, sticks and stones. The person has to be beaten up and he should be killed. Like that Mahabharata we come across in Shanti Parva. So Rajaniti, it is actually in Mahabharata and other places, a dictator is never encouraged. What they were encouraging was that a person, a dynamic dictator, who is actually he should be a despot only, but actually a benevolent despot. Benevolent despotism. That is what they advocated from the beginning, because a person should be a very strong person to protect the people. At the same time, he should never deviate dharma. That is why always there should be a Purohit. Now, what is the importance of Purohit? Why Purohit should be there? There is a story in Mahabharata again. The story again is a big story. It says that again, If a king is not having a Purohit, the king is a useless king like that. Because he should be always guided by one person who is a Purohit means actually who is Purohit is not a priest, please. Purohit means Puraha Hitaha. Puraha. Puraha means front. He has to stay in the front and give Hita to the person back. That is why he is called Purohita. But his meaning is actually misinterpreted by us, stating that Purohita means he will be there doing good to the village or something like that. It is also a correct one, but it is not like that. He has to stay in the front and guide the person. Then guide the person in a dharmic way. Because king may deviate because of his Rajasa Guna. He may deviate from the path and he may go astray. He should not go like that. He has to go according to the principle of dharma only. In order to go according to the principle of dharma, this Purohita should be there. The importance of Purohita is given. But why it is wrongly interpreted that Kshatriyas and Brahmanas put together, they actually ruled other persons. This is how the interpretation is there. But the actual vision was something different. The vision was misinterpreted. Whatever it may be, this is how the Mahabharata is misinterpreted also in many places. So it is Rajaniti is there, Dharma is there, everything is there in Mahabharata. Then how Mahabharata was designed, because we are having this time. Mahabharata was designed or conceived, the entire story of Mahabharata was conceived by Vedavyasa in his mind. When he conceived the entire thing, what he wanted to do is that he wanted to write the book. So in order to write the book, he has actually he wanted to he depended on Ganapati according to the directions of Brahma, and he took him as a lekhaka, and he was telling and he was writing. At the time there was some condition. Ganapati tells that I can't write everything. I can't sit like this continuously. Thing is that I can sit here. Thing is that you need. I'm a busy person. I have to go out. Many days I can't stay here. You go on telling and I go on writing. You should not stop. If you stop, I will get out. Then what is the problem? Problem is there because Vedavyasa has also to take some rest. For physical rest also required and mental rest also required. What he did was that no, it's not like that. Then I agree for your condition. You also have to agree to my condition. The condition is that I will be going on telling you understand it and you have to write it. If you don't understand it, you should not write it. Then he agreed for it. Okay, no problem. I can understand and write it. When you are telling, I will be understanding like that. Vedavyasa, at each and every 10th shloka to 20th shloka, whatever it may be, he used to put a difficult shloka there, which is having a lot of meanings. Then Ganapati has to take sometimes some minutes or sometimes some hours, sometimes maybe some days like that. He has to understand that shloka and write it. By that time, he used to build so many hundreds of shlokas by that time. Like this, they have developed this entire Mahabharata. And the Mahabharata, it is actually, it is written in 3 years, like that it is mentioned in Mahabharata. In 3 years, the entire Mahabharata was completed by Vedavyasa and also Ganapati. When this was done, this has to be propagated. So when Janamejaya was performing Sarpayaga, at the time, at the end of Sarpayaga, Janamejaya has got many doubts about his own ancestors. That is called Pandavas, and he wanted to know the story. At the time, Vedavyasa comes there, and he deputed Vaishampayana and his own Sishya to tell the story of Mahabharata to these persons. So he told that entire story in the place where this Janamejaya and other kings were there. For a limited intellectual audience, he spoke Mahabharata. So some people tell that it is only 8,000 shlokas were written by 8,800 shlokas. The difficult shlokas, what I told, they are called Grantha Grandhis. This Grantha Grandhis consisting of 8,800 such Grantha Grandhis were there. And those is called Jayam, what we can call. The name of that Grantha is called Jayam. The Jayam, when it came to the place of Janamejaya place, and Janamejaya people wanted to have more explanation, and he was giving the explanation according to the Udaya of Vedavyasa, and then it has become Bharata. When it has become Bharata, and then again there is one person by name Ugrashrava. That person was there in that particular king's court. He heard it and he wanted to further propagate it. He went to Naimisharanya where Shaunaka and other persons were there. There he told the entire story of Mahabharata. And then they were asking so many other questions, and then he again told many other stories for giving the import of this main principle. And then Mahabharata has become Mahabharata. Like that, 8,800 slokas in the court of Janamejaya, it has become 24,000, and 24,000 has become 1 lakh. Like that, people will be telling that is how it has spread. Entire Mahabharata was not written by Veda Vyasa. There is some argument, but there are many established scholars. They say that it is not like that. The entire Mahabharata was written by Veda Vyasa only, and the entire Mahabharata was written on 1 lakh slokas are written by Veda Vyasa only. It is not correct to say that because why this doubt has crept into the scholastic discussion was that one shloka is there, Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. So that is called Jayam subject matter Jayam. I pray for Narayana, Narayanam Namaskritya Naram, then Arjuna, and then Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim. I pray for the Devi, and then I pray for Veda Vyasa, and then there is I tell them Jayam like that. So this particular shloka is there in each and every Purana. People say that some scholars say that it is not just because it is mentioned as Jayam in Mahabharata, this particular shloka is there in Mahabharata. You can't say that it is only initially it is a Jayam written by Veda Vyasa, then it will become Bharata and Mahabharata. It is entire thing is wrong. And this particular shloka is there everywhere in every Purana, in the beginning of every Purana, whichever is being told by Suta, and he was actually telling this shloka, and then he was continuing with the Purana. So it should not be construed that Mahabharata is only a Jayam. It is actually Mahabharata, the entire thing is written by Veda Vyasa. This is actually scholastic discussion purpose. We have nothing to do. Basically, this course is aimed to give insights from Mahabharata only, not necessarily whether when it was written, how it was written, and all these things are not the subject matter here. So that is why we are not going to prolong with the scholastic discussion in this particular spot. So this is how Mahabharata spread to the different other places, and then it was taken out by many kavi, that is called poets, and all these persons. They wrote in their fashion. Many persons propagated it in different ways, and even now also it is getting propagated through organizations like Veda Samskruti Samiti. This type of organizations also actually in order to imbibe the culture Sanatana Dharma to people, and they are bringing this type of courses into the curriculum, and it is coming into the picture. This is how Mahabharata was spread, and then it was translated into Urdu and not necessarily Arabic and other languages. Even at the time of Mughals only, Dara Shikoh was there. Dara Shikoh is actually the son of Akbar. He wanted Akbar or Jahangir, I don't know. I think it is the son of Jahangir, Aurangzeb's brother. That person was very much interested in reading Mahabharata. He got it translated into Arabic, and it is spread from Arabic to different other languages. In English, the same Mahabharata, initially the very first time, it was actually, I think it is 1893 or 1793, I don't exactly remember, maybe it is around 1893, I believe, 1883, correct, 1883 to 1896, in between, there is one person by name Kesari Ganguly, Kisri, Kesari Mohan Ganguly. This person is from Bengal, and he spent 13 years to translate original Mahabharata into English as it is. True translation, it is there. The book is still available in Amazon also. It is there, everywhere it is there. Kesari Mohan Ganguly translation. This is the first translation in English. So this is how it was done. And then subsequently, this Gita Press people, we know Gita Press, Gorakhpur Press people, they have brought it out in different languages, Kannada, English, Telugu, like that, they have brought it out. And then recently, this Vivek Devrai, he has also translated. He has translated the entire Mahabharata into English. That is also a very great book. Like that, and there's so many pratis are there. One we come across. One is in Kumbhakona Prati. It is very famous. This Gita Press is famous. And the North Indian Prati, they call it Uttara Bharata Desha Prati. Like that, it is there. That is one Prati is there. Like that, different versions of Mahabharata is there. But one peculiar thing we find is that in all these places, we come across only 1 lakh shlokas only, and again most of the shlokas, only here and there a small changes in the wording in the shlokas, but still all shlokas are same only. Because of this reason, this Bhandarkar Institute of Pune, they have actually spent so many years, around 40 to 45 years, the scholars have sat together and they took out all these pratis, Kumbakonam prati, then this what is called Gorakhpur prati, North Indian prati, like that, everything they have taken it in one place and they have started reading each and every prati and everywhere whatever that is there, and they have come out with a critical edition of Mahabharata like that. Even if you Google it also you find across a critical edition of Mahabharata, they have brought it out. Bhandarkar Institute. That is supposed to be now a very standard textbook. Of course, Gita Press also. So South Indians normally follow this Gita Press, and Tamil Nadu and other areas they follow Kumbakonam Press. North Indians they are having their own prati like that. But the original Mahabharata written by Veda Vyasa is what is called written down in the palm scripts, that is not available now. That is where it has gone. We don't know because it was written some 5,000 years or whatever it may be. Those years, it is believed that Mahabharata war happened in some 5132 BC, something like that. So we don't know whether that prati is there or not. That prati is nowhere so far it is available. But anyway, the different versions are there. This so because Mahabharata was known to people as 1 lakh. Shloka Grantha as early as 533, 534 BC, people tell. That is called, we have having one copper plate inscription that is called a Maharaja Sharavanta. Sharvintha. One person we normally quote. This is copper plate inscription of Sharavanta. That is, he is from Satna district of Madhya Pradesh. That person, he was there somewhere around 533, 534 BC. 534 AD. That is called current after this current AD 534. 6th century AD, and he was there. This king was there. This king has put one copper plate inscription wherein it is mentioned that there is a book by name Mahabharata which is having 1 lakh shlokas. That is, it is very much mentioned. Shata Sahasra Samhita, like that it is mentioned. So like that, as early as this is, then one more evidence of Mahabharata was there long back also, means we are having this Panini Ashtadhyayi, that is 4th century BC. There itself it is mentioned that Mahabharata is there. Then Ashwalayana Guhya Sutras are there. Those places also it is mentioned that Mahabharata one book is there which is having 1 lakh shlokas. So from the beginning, this 1 lakh Shata Sahasra Samhita, that is continuously going on. Nowhere they mentioned that it is 8,800 shlokas or 24,000 shlokas. It is not mentioned. So it is like that. And one more aspect of Mahabharata, I think it is time is getting over. Only 2 minutes only I will complete it. And what they say is that Mahabharata is Mahatvat Bharavatvat iti Bharatam. People tell it is Mahatva, so it is great. And Bharavatvat, and by weight. Weight means it is not necessarily by physical weight. The worth in it is also, it is great, like that. So if we compare Ramayana is having 24,000 verses, Mahabharata is having 1 lakh verses. It is almost 5 or 4 times bigger. If you create the entire Greek literature, Greece is also a great civilization. There, this Iliad, all those things are there. Now, if all those books are put together, it is actually 8 times bigger than all those things. And Shakespeare literature, if you take into consideration entire works of Shakespeare, you put on one side, and the entire Mahabharata you put on one side, you can't compare it. It is much more bigger than all these things, like that. Mahatvat Bharavatvat iti Bharatam, people say like that. And there is many, of course, introduction itself can be told for 3-4 days, but today we can stop here. From tomorrow onwards, any other thing we can take it up, Mahabharata, and we will continue it. Today I would like to stop my discussion here, and people will can ask some questions for another 10 or 15 minutes.
Thank you very much, Nagaraj Rao. Yeah, Mahabharatam is too big and it's vast. We'll go ahead with Pradhana and then take up questions, a few questions in case there are, with your permission. So, Ram Sharma Garu, kindly do the Pradhana, please.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिष गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् श्लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः पुत्रा पुत्रिणः सन्तु पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सदनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायां मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम शांति 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 ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु स्वस्ति
सर्वे जनाः స్వస్తి. ధన్యవాదాలు రామస్వామి గారు. Now we all rise for the national anthem by Venkatnarayan garu, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभाशिष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे. जय हिंद.
Thank you very much, Venkatnarayan garu. Now the floor is open for a few questions in case anyone wants to ask. So any questions, please do ask. Otherwise, we'll close for the day. And you can post your questions again. Tomorrow is also there's a class, so you can think it over and ask. I think there are no more questions, Nagaraja.
Fine, sir.
So we'll close for the day.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you.
Fine, sir.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Have a nice day. Thank you.